Hi everyone, congratulations on surviving week 1 of our online film appreciation course. I just first want to thank everyone for sharing their stories on Padlet. Last week you had the assignment to post more information about yourself, to introduce yourself to me and to the class. And the hardest part for me as a teacher for 20 years is that lack of interaction with you guys. And that's the biggest challenge of an online course. And so it was great to be able to see your stories, to know a little bit more about what you want to get out of the class, and to see what your goals are in the class and in life. So that was great. So thank you very much. If you haven't had the chance, be sure to check out the post of your fellow students so that you can get to know everybody that is in our class. This week we have 4 lecture videos, including the one you're watching right now. The video after this one talks a little bit about film evaluation and film analysis, and then we talk about a little bit of film history, and then finally I talk about the concepts of chapter 1 and chapter 9 in there. I've learned the hard way that YouTube doesn't like long videos. It takes forever to upload and code it, and it also doesn't like a lot of so I was surprised by what videos it thought were copyrighted. So Godzilla from 1954, I found out, is copyrighted, and it caused a video to get blocked. So that meant having to re-edit. So that's the beauty of technology, is you learn as you go, and every day is a new lesson. So be sure to watch those 4 videos. They're not as long. They're broken into segments, so they're each shorter videos that add up to really one full lecture. And you should note that all of the things in the videos when I talk is not necessarily everything that's covered in the book, and not everything that's covered in the book is covered in the video. But you are expected kind of to have an overview of both the book and the videos for the exams and for the projects that we're working on. So the goal is to give you a more well-rounded experience and a base of knowledge for this class. So make sure you take really good notes on both the videos and the Smart Book reading as you go through it. Grades. The Moodle grade book is not the most accurate spot for taking grades, and because we're weighting grades, meaning all of those quizzes you take this semester are going to count as 25%, Moodle makes it difficult for me to make it accurate. So just for now, ignore the grades if you're panicking by what you see in the grade book on Moodle, because what I do is I actually keep grades in a spreadsheet, and that'll have a better reading on the weighted grades, because again, projects are 25%, quizzes make up 25%, and so it's easier that way. So for now, don't panic about the grades. If you're doing the assignments and getting them in on time, the quizzes and the forms, then we're in very good shape so far. So speaking of assignments, this week you have 2 chapters to read in the Smart Book. The first one is on film form, and then there is a quiz of 10 to 13 questions that you have to do for that. And then we're going to also go to talk about narrative in chapter 3, and then you'll have to do a quiz for that as well. And what's different this week is there's what's called a video tutorial in chapter 3. You'll watch a quick video, and then there's a couple questions, and that will count also as a quiz. And again, the goal is to get you to learn a little bit more beyond the book and get you to see some examples of the techniques we're talking about in action. The deadline's different. Last week you had till Sunday to do the Smart Book, but from now on, the deadline will always be on Thursday at 11:30 p.m. There is a cushion, so if you have to turn it in the next day, there's a 10% grade deduction up to 2 days, so please don't do it later than Saturday, but make sure that you stay on top of that. And again, you can always work ahead, so all of the Smart Book assignments are already programmed in for the rest of the semester, and I think through chapter 8 is all we're going to focus on, and you can always go ahead of yourself and get those done in advance, and then they'll give you more time to do the forum discussions and watch the lecture videos as we go. This week's film of the week is Singin' in the Rain, which I absolutely adore. You will have to rent it on Amazon Prime or on iTunes or Google Play, and I actually bought it because I love it so much. And it's a film classic, and when you're watching it, pay attention to narrative structure. It's a movie about making movies during the golden age of Hollywood, so I love movies that are what we call meta, like that. And it stars Debbie Reynolds, who's probably bigger claim to fame is being the mother of Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher, and Gene Kelly, who is one of the premier actors during this golden age of television. Then you're going to post on the film forum in Moodle, and I'll have some questions for you to respond to. And again, make sure you post well in advance of the 11:30 deadline. We learned the hard way last week that if you post your response at 11:20, then you get locked out of the system at 11:30, and you do have to read other students' replies after you post yours and then respond to 2 other students. So if you wait too long or you come right up into the deadline, you're going to get locked out of the system. For last week, if you needed an extra day or 2 to then reply to 2 students, I extended the deadline for last week when we had to watch 1 Week by Buster Keaton. So then that way, if you need to, go back now and reply to 2 students from last week. But for this week, make sure that you keep in mind that you probably need to get your post done by 11 o'clock to give you a half an hour to respond to other students. And that is due this Sunday by 11:30. So SmartBook assignments due Thursday by 11:30, and then the film forms due by Sunday. And if you can, again, it's a rental fee, but Citizen Kane is considered to be one of the best films of all time. And it is by Orson Welles from 1941. And if you do watch it, it is a perfect film to use for your final project, which is an analysis essay, because Orson Welles in his debut feature film uses all of the techniques that we're going to talk about in class, and it really is the best exemplar of cinematic style and form that's out there. Looking ahead for the next couple weeks, exam number 1, it's going to be online, most likely on the SmartBook. It will be due Thursday by June 18th at 11:30. You don't have any readings to do next week. You'll just have to watch the lecture videos before you take the exam. And that, again, the 2 exams for this class will be worth 25% of your total grade. That the week after that, we have what's called the plot segmentation that is due Sunday, June 28th by 11:30. That's already posted on Moodle with some examples. It's in chapter 2 of the book to explain, but basically you are watching a film, so you could do this for Singing in the Rain or Citizen Kane if you prefer, or choose a film that's on the list. Then you are writing down every major plot action that happens. And the goal, again, is to give you an idea of how narrative structure works and how all of the things that happen in a movie are really guiding us towards that ending, whatever that ending may be. So that's due June 28th. And again, all the details are on Moodle already. This week we're going to have office hours, so look for that on Moodle. It will be Thursday. It's going to be a chat session. So I'll basically be sitting at my computer with that chat session open. And if you have any questions, it's a good way to kind of get my response right now. If you have questions or comments, or if you need a little bit of help or guidance, then those would be our virtual office hours. But again, if you have any questions, you should always consult this course schedule that has all the details with live links to more information if you need it. And the course question forum is a great place to post a question you might have, and usually students are faster than I am in responding, so if you have a general question about the course, then you could post it there and hopefully someone will respond quicker. If otherwise, then I will get to it and then everyone can see the response. So that's why we established that. And I think that is it. The Padlet, someone mentioned on the forum why we're using the Padlet. Padlet to me is a more visual way of providing information and links than Moodle. Moodle doesn't really let me put pictures and links and clip art as easily. So Padlet, think of Padlet as your supplemental way to find out more about the class or get links to the videos. Or again, I post the definitions on SmartBook that I think you need to focus on. So use it as a supplemental. It's not the home base. Moodle will be your home base for everything, and then SmartBook will be your textbook. So Padlet, using all 3 of these really gives you a more extensive experience in the class. And if you have any questions or any problems, you can also email me. And I look forward to, again, seeing what you think of Singing in the Rain this week. And good luck, and I will see you next week.